What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Survivor Now podcast. My name is Randy, and today I am joined by Ollie to talk all things Survivor 46 and the finale. And look at this, my camera. There we go. I need to lower it a little bit. There we go. On the spot, on live, we adjust that. So last night we had the finale, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there for everybody. Spoiler alert. Wait, is that my?
Sorry, that was
Ollie told me. He's like, see if Randy can fight through this. But we are talking about last night's finale episode. So if you have not seen it, this is your one chance. One, why are you here? But we're going to be spoiling it. We're going to be talking about the winner. That is the first thing we are going to talk about. So we're going to talk in 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to Queen Kenzie. Kenzie Petty defeats Charlie Davis and Ben Katzman in a 5-3-0 vote to claim the title of sole survivor. So Ollie, you picked Kenzie to win. I mean, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the fantasy results because I have those and who won the fantasy competition. But I know in recent weeks, myself, Jack, Will, you could go on and on. I think maybe Tegwood too, have been saying that Kenzie is probably going to end up winning this thing. And she did. But we jumped on the train late. You've been there since the get-go. So, Ollie, walk us through this win for Kenzie.
I'm so happy. I kind of mentioned this to you before the podcast start, but this was the first time I ever cried watching a winner. And I still feel emotional now, but sorry. I've just been such a fan of Kenzie from the day dot. Just as soon as I saw her kind of like pre-season interviews, I just connected with her straight away. And I could just tell that she was someone I was going to enjoy. And I think, I know we've seen some casual fans being toxic and sexist, but do you know what? It's fine. They're going to build a bridge and get over it, and they're going to see how amazing Kenzie was as a winner. I am so proud of her. I'm so happy for her. I feel like she, again, was the perfect example of you don't have to be the biggest voice in the room, but your voice doesn't have to be the biggest, but it can have meaning. And that's what she did the entire season. And she showed it during her final tribal council. And I know that people have like kind of had some comments about the jury. And unfortunately, if you go into the situation with an already preconceived notion of what's going to happen, you're doomed to be disappointed. That's why when it came to the finale, yes, I was rooting for Kenzie. I had every belief that she was going to win, but I was never going to just overconfidently say it. So I'm proud of her.
You didn't want to jinx her.
Exactly. But she is mother. She is queen. I love her. She is bestie. And she is my favorite. She is officially now my favorite winner of all time.
I mean, you brought up the fan kind of feedback, and this was something that I was really scared to talk, or not to talk about, but I was really worried about. I mean, we spoke about it in the pre-show yesterday. I said, if Kenzie ends up winning, I'm scared about the backlash she may get because of someone like Erica, who I still think Erica is a really good winner, but we all know Erica got a lot of kind of splashback from the Survivor community about how she didn't deserve it. And because she wasn't the loudest person out there, and she played a great social game. She didn't make those flashy moves that some people, the casual fans, think is what you have to do to win. First off, how can you be mad at this winner? Look at her smile on her face. I will say in Final Tribal Council, and we're going to get to everything that happened at Final Tribal Council in a little bit, but once she said she was going to use the money for her family, to start a family, I was like, is she not pregnant right now? So I was like, ooh. But
I was going to say, to be fair, there was a part in the episode I was sat there going like, I actually don't think Kenzie's winning because of something else related to kind of what we know of the seasons. But she is a decent human being. We saw throughout the season how nice she was to her castaways, regardless of what people like to say. She was also a decent human being. So, like, we've got a great winner because she is a great human. And here's the thing. We can all say Charlie was rocked. Like, Charlie played a great game. I am never going to discount or discredit Charlie's game. It can both be true, but the issue I feel like I have with casual fans is they have a preconceived notion with what Survivor should be. We have seen time and time again, the same winner does not happen twice in a row. We never see the same winner every time. Like, each winner is uniquely different because each season is uniquely different to their cast. And this cast, so the social game and jury management played a big factor. Like, we had a lot of people here about, like, the jury very much were like, you need to appease us. Like, you need to kind of convince us. And we saw it during Final Tribal Council that there was a lot of pushback. And that is because the jury want to make sure that they're right as well and that they explain their game. But the jury aren't stupid. And if you I'm not saying that Charlie or Ben or Kenzie, none of them did that. But this particular jury, if you don't connect with them, they're not going to feel that urge to vote for you. And I think that's what Kenzie was able to utilize amazingly throughout the game and Final Tribal. So
I think what casual fans need to understand, and I'll pull this back up for anyone joining us, what we're talking about right now. The public has been critical of Kenzie's season 46 win, which, I mean, it's nothing new. We get it. No matter who wins, people are going to be critical. There's going to be people who are happy. There's going to be people who are pissed off. It's just part of the nature of the game. It just sucks to see it with someone like Kenzie, who you said is just an amazing person. Like, just an incredible, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And she has taken this in the post-game interviews that I've seen her do. She has taken this like a champ. She's not letting it get to her. She's like, you know what? I get it. There's going to be people, yada, yada, yada. But I think what frustrates me about the casual fan, and if you are a casual fan, we still love that you're watching the show. We just wish that some of you brought it back a little bit in terms of criticizing some people, but they don't appreciate jury management and what goes into jury management, which I think is one of the key elements of the game all in all. You know, obviously they want to see those big flashy moves. It's all they care about. They want to see you flushing idols. They want to see you running the game like kind of like a mob boss, where it's like everyone's answering to you. That's the game they want to see, because they think if you're dominating like that, that's what gets you $1 million. But no, Kenzie came out, and we're going to that's our very next topic, is when we get to the full Final Tribal Council and walk through all of that. We're going to get to the fact that, you know, they were asked to own up to their games. I mean, a lot of the jury members were very blunt with them and said, tell us the mistakes you made. You know, Soda, when was the last time we saw a player come out and criticize all three of the Final Tribal, you know, castaways coming out and saying, this is what you were, this is what you were, and this is what you were. Prove me wrong or prove me right. You got 30 seconds, go. Which we haven't seen that in a minute. I thought all three of them answered really well. And, you know, Kenzie flat out came out and said, look, I am kind of more of a social player. She came out and admitted it. Yes, I haven't made the flashing moves, but this is what I have done, and this is why I deserve this. And you have to give it to her. That's how you play the jury. Her jury management was incredible. Her social game was incredible. She was well liked by everyone. She wouldn't have had a perfect game, but I remind all you guys, if Ben didn't throw out that mistaken vote to Kenzie, she would have been in running for a perfect game. So yes, you can sit here and you can say that Charlie deserves the win. Charlie played a masterful game. And there's probably 8 out of 10 seasons that if Charlie played, he would have won. But you have to play with the cards that you are dealt. He was dealt Kenzie in the final 3, and this jury preferred Kenzie to Charlie. And you can't argue that. That's how it played out. And
the thing is, we have to remember, Charlie was also very gracious. Like, kudos to Charlie for being such a class act, at the after show, because he was literally there like, the jury picked the winner and we respect that. I respect that. And yes, I think Keisha's just said it best in the live chat. Charlie was great in confessionals, but it didn't translate to the jury. And it's that thing that we're the viewers. We're not voting. We are there simply watching. Like, we are not the jury. We do not get a vote. I'm so sorry about it. The jury have to get the vote. So yes, it's all good and well having those good confessionals. And at the end of the day, I think Kenzie had great confessionals. Hugh had great confessionals. Venus had great confessionals. Liz had great confessionals. But you also have to translate that and make that shown to the jury. And you have to be able to articulate that.
We got a few comments here. And Jay, I just saw your comment about Maria. I've saved it. We're going to get to it when we get to the whole Maria and Charlie situation a little bit later on in the show. But we have Jay here. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Kenzie that she won, but I also feel like Charlie played a great game. That's how you phrase it. Everyone watching, if you're frustrated, that's how you phrase it. Ollie and I are not going to sit here and say that you have to be overjoyed with the winner. This has to be your favorite winner of all time. You know, this is ultimately a show. You have your favorites, you have your least favorites. Prime example, right? Love Marianne as a person. I know people have heard me say this in the past. Marianne is not my favorite winner. She's one of my least favorite winners. Am I going to go online and shit on Marianne and the person she is? Absolutely not. She's an incredible person. If I ever met her, if she ever came on the show, I wouldn't be petty about anything. Like, she is an amazing human being. I would be honored to have her as a guest. In terms of her winning ability, it wasn't for me. And that's okay. That's how you phrase it. You phrase it, good that she won. I wish this person won. There you go. That's all you need to say. Jay also adds in, by the public, you mean Survivor Facebook and Reddit.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
Full T. I told you this. I was arguing with people.
I need to go on and look at your arguments. I haven't looked at it yet. I love that you showed Keisha's comment about jury management. She also adds in Kenzie was clear, concise, and genuine. And sometimes that's all it takes. So let's get on to our next topic. And this is that final tribal council. And I wish I had time today to go back and rewatch this, because yes, I was at a friend's house. I was kind of watching it with friends. We had people talking, and, you know, I got to see most of it, but this is something that I wish that I got to rewatch. Ollie, I'll go to you first. We've already talked about how all three castaways were, you know, I felt they did an incredible job with their episodes.
I think they did do an incredible job. And the thing is, this was not an easy jury. People have mentioned it's a bitter jury. No, they weren't bitter. They had their ideas, they had their plans, and they wanted the answers. Like, this is a personality cast. They're going to make sure that they get what they want. I do feel like there were times where I feel like some people were being a bit too much, like, not too much, but too, what's the word? Like, basically cute.
A little too harsh.
Not harsh. I think because it was when it was the first question and each of them were answering. And to be fair, Ben got pushed back. Keisha's just said it best. Combative. It was very combative. Thank you, Keisha. It was like, again, so Ben said something, it was pushed back. Charlie said something, it was pushed back. Kenzie said something, it was pushed back. And it was Q kind of just basically trying to say no. And it was, I'm so glad Tiffany was there to be like, no, like, I am also here actually going to validate what Kenzie said. And that's what I appreciated about the jury as well, when there were times where the jury were like, no, I can vouch for that. No, I can vouch for that. And even like some of the, like, even the final three at times, like, I felt like Ben even like gave that at times. So, and also Jay's just said it. We're saying when Tiffany came out with the no Taylor Swift lyrics and no,
that was funny.
That was funny. Fair. But also fair, because your game's not Taylor Swift.
Well, they came in. This is something they obviously talked about at Ponderosa. They were obviously joking about, like, you know, he could bring up Taylor Swift. Ben might bring up like rock culture. And I like that she said that. She set the tone early. That was the tone setter for how this was going to go down. We're not here to joke. We're not here to play games. And that is something that we've seen in the new era that people have kind of been critical about with these juries, as it's been very, you know, people are laughing, they're smiling, you know, this is a game for $1 million. Like, this is a serious decision. And I'm not saying past juries haven't been serious. I'm just saying they've taken a more lighthearted approach. And I understand why you don't want to use the word harsh, but, you know, the jury came out right away and they said, look, we're not here to just be your friends, and love that. Yeah. Exactly. That's the word, combative. But they're not here to joke around and stuff. So I like that she set that tone early on, basically saying, don't even bring it up because we're not about it tonight. We want to hear your games. And you brought up Q. I thought Q did not have the best final tribal council in the sense of when Kenzie brought up the fact that she decided to keep Ben in the game over Tim at that Tim vote. And Q pushed back and said, you're speaking for yourself. I never wanted Ben out of the game. And I love that Tiffany, as you stated, chimed in and said, yes, you did. And then Q continued to go, no, I didn't know it. That's what you wanted. Don't speak for Q. And as an audience member, we're all sitting there. You definitely wanted Ben out of the game. Can we, this is where I wish Jeff had a TV and he's like, well, here we go. Let me pull it over. We have the footage right here. Yeah, it would have been a boss moment if he did that, but it was frustrating to watch that. And then eventually we have Liz who kind of interrupts and say, I would like to hear from the three people actually still in the game. And I love that. And I respect that from Liz because we don't need, look, you'll get your turn to ask your question. And this is why I think we need to go back to not the general discussion, but more of the you stand up, you ask your question, and that's it. Because this is about the final three. It is not about you and your ego, Q.
Yeah, I do. But I do feel like it had that vibe because, like, Jeff, one thing was I can't remember if there was no closing, but there was no opening statement. And I was like, oh, just going straight for it. But it did kind of give me the energy because they all asked a question.
True. They changed it up a little bit this year.
They did change it up, which I think was good. And I think it was needed because I think that approach will benefit the jury more in making their decision. Overall, I know people have kind of slammed this jury. I don't think it was that bad. I think we've seen a lot more. Yeah, we've seen worse. And actually, when you look at the jury, we can respect them for the fact that when at the after show, Jeff was like, how many people changed their votes at Final Tribal Council? 5 of them did, I believe. I think Liz, all 3 people that vote for Charlie changed their mind. And I think I think it was Q and Maria, 5.
So who voted Charlie again? It was Tevin, Venus, and Hunter.
Who voted who voted for Charlie?
For Charlie, yeah. No,
Liz,
Tevin voted.
Yeah, Liz, Hunter, and Soda. They were the 3 that voted for Charlie.
Oh, I got that completely flipped.
Yeah, but all 3 of them kind of said that they came in either unsure or thinking Kenzie and then switched to Charlie. But I think that's a respectful thing to them. They gave all 3 of them the thing of wanting to at least do that.
We got Jay in the chat. The only people who I didn't see ask any questions was maybe Liz and Maria.
Yeah,
I bet they asked questions. I bet they just didn't make the edit. Yeah, I bet you everyone got at least a question. And then he says, no, Maria came in wanting to vote Kenzie from the jump. She didn't change her mind.
I couldn't remember who had their hand up, to be fair.
We're definitely going to get to the whole Maria situation. I know you guys want to chat about that. Ollie, the next question I want to ask about this, final tribal council was there ever a moment, usually when I'm watching a final tribal council play out, there's a singular moment that I'm like, they just won the game. I didn't feel like that happened this time. And I went to the back and I had everyone who I was watching with, I told them straight from and they look at me as like, they're casual fans. They look at me as like this Survivor nerd. So when I came in saying, I think Kenzie's going to win, they said, do you know who's going to win? Because obviously they know the podcast. They know I'm friends with a lot of castaways. Yeah. I said, I don't know who's going to win, but I am almost 99% positive Kenzie's going to win. Like, if I knew exactly how to bet, I might put $100 on Kenzie because I think she's definitely going to win. But we got to the point where the jury started the vote and my friends were like, you're right, Randy. Kenzie has this. Kenzie has it. And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I no idea.
I had no idea. And I actually credit the editors for this. I think that production did a really good job at making us really feel unsure. And I think, again, that elevates the season because we have no idea. It could be Charlie. It could be Kenzie. And I think
it could have been Ben. I thought that I did, Ollie.
I love
did
Ben's
too.
pieces.
No, I thought it could be Ben. I thought Ben could have at least got a couple votes before Tevin. Before they showed the moment, Tevin looked over and said, "I'm like," he was like, "I'm between two."
Between two, yeah.
And I thought it was going to be a tie too, because how many times they kept alluding to, oh, it could be a tie, it could be a tie.
Well,
I'm like,
that's what Soda said. Yeah, Soda said it. Soda was like, "What if it's a tie?" And I was like, "Ooh!" But again, that was production doing such a great job, in my opinion, of keeping us on our toes and really doing a good job at not making it obvious. And I think it's good. I appreciated it. I think it really did help the suspense of the season.
I mean, could you imagine if Ben had to choose? Ben was almost losing his mind having to choose who to go to tribal council and who to put in fire. Could you imagine if you say, Ben, you have to choose right now who gets $1 million?
I think Ben's openly said who he would choose.
He would have chosen Charlie, is what he said.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that would have been such a tough decision. But just on that, we kept saying this, like, there is this good that clearly Ben is going to make this really big decision. And the fact that it was who's going against Liz in fire, I was kind of sat there and I was like, that was the reason. But I kind of think about it now and I'm like, I guess that was a big decision because he chose Kenzie to go to fire and Kenzie ended up winning. So.
I mean, let's go ahead and talk about that. I mean, great segue to our next topic. Ben Katzman wins the final immunity challenge, which did not see that coming whatsoever. This man has consistently been in the back. I know some people don't pay attention to the challenges. It's their least favorite part of the show. I do. I consistently pay attention to who's in the back every single challenge. And no offense to you, Ben, it's a fact. Ben was usually in the back. For him to come into this challenge and say, I've been dealing with like 2 hours of sleep every single night, if that. He's been having his night terrors, all of that stuff. And to come in and kill it is something really impressive. And he takes Charlie to final tribal council, sending Liz and Kenzie to fire.
Yeah, I was really proud of Ben. I was really happy for Ben because I just quick segue. I do think that I do want to give props to the editors and production because I do think they did a really great job of this finale, giving everyone their little spotlight moment and giving everyone their flowers. I do feel like they did a really good job at that. I think that final five, everyone got shown in a great light. So I give production great credit for that. And this was Ben's moment. And I was really proud of him because I think it was such a cute, like, it was a cute moment in the sense of like, he really was able to finally back himself and it paid off. Also, side note, that was the final five immunity for Survivor UK.
Oh, was it? Look, when they showed the immunity challenge, I went, have I seen this before? Yes. And I had something in the back of my mind was like, you've seen something very similar or you have seen it before. But I love this. Yeah. I love that. And I loved it in UK because it's basically a extension of, oh my gosh, what's the challenge called? Simulation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I said, I'm okay if you do the same challenge every year and you recycle it, but make it different somehow. We saw it with Survivor Australia this year. They had that type of challenge, but you had to climb a ladder. And that adds a dynamic to it, a ladder. So I'm okay doing that, every year, every other year. You just got to change it up. I love this. Absolutely love it.
I absolutely loved it. Again, I am a big challenge fan. I love seeing the challenges because I'm thinking like a lot of people go on to Survivor and they're like, no, I want to test myself in the challenges. So I enjoyed it because it was a variation. It was something slightly different, and it was them just breaking the mold a little bit and not being so repetitive. Yeah, and that's what I enjoyed about it.
Amy adds in, agree with Jay, loved that final challenge. Jay also says apparently a similar version of it was in Millennials versus Gen X.
Yeah. My brain, there's a little thing there. But
I have something to propose to CBS, a challenge idea. I thought they were doing something else at first, and I was wrong. I thought they had to throw the ball up, build your puzzle, and I thought the puzzle was closer to the ramp than it looked at first. So my first thought was, if you don't catch the ball by the time it gets down, it's going to come out and knock down your puzzle.
That would be funny.
So you would have to start over.
I think the
that
amount of people that would be telling Jeff to F off during that challenge would be hilarious. Jeff would be like, "It's not me." We'd be like,
so, I mean, just an idea, but let's get to Ben's decision. This was a decision that Ben really struggled with. I love seeing how he walked down to the beach. He threw his hands up. Yes, I won. And then you instantly saw they had this super cool shot, and I'm glad I remember it, where Charlie, like, he was so happy, and then the music got dramatic, and Charlie rises up in the back.
Yeah, that was funny.
And it showed Ben's face almost be like, I have to make a decision. About who. That was such a cool shot. I mean, I mean, the camera, the cinematography, the camera work from the crew this year has been masterful. It's been incredible. Some of the best I've ever seen.
If they don't get an Emmy nomination, I'm not saying win an Emmy, but if they don't get an Emmy nomination,
they got to get an Emmy nomination.
They have to. I feel like this season, in terms of like, sorry to go on a tangent, but like in terms of for like giving them their flowers, like Survivor has been on for so long, and I feel like they're finally getting into like a new little refresher of it, and I feel like they deserve some credit for it, like just at least nominations.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Ben ends up choosing Liz, as he sees Liz as the social threat. This gets Liz super emotional. We see her kind of, I thought she was going to freak out again on the beach. She has a wrist issue, which makes it hard for her to make fire. And then you had the feeling that he was going to choose Kenzie. We see everybody practicing. I will throw this in as kind of our next topic as well. Liz said in an interview she felt, and she said out there, you guys would have been sorry, whatever she said. Liz felt she would have won at Final Tribal Council, to the chagrin, not the chagrin, I don't know the exact word, but I mean to the humor of the jury. We saw Venus look over like a side eye. Everyone's what? And Ollie, this was something, how do I say this in a nice way? I questioned Ben's decision here to see Liz as the top threat. And I was kind of yelling at the TV and saying, Ben, if you want any chance to win, Liz needs to be in your final three. If you want any chance.
But as we know, we only see a certain amount. We see 90 minutes. Perception is everything. There was clearly stuff that we didn't see. And again, what we do know is Liz was very vocal about what she had done and what she felt like she had done. So I do feel like Liz could have done well at Final Tribal Council. Yeah, I think she could have had a really good speech. I think I said it yesterday. And I think she was being more out there. She was being the louder voice than Charlie and Kenzie. That's not Charlie and Kenzie. They didn't want to be the louder voice. So I completely understand it. And I think, so I know we've always had this thing of like, people don't want to be taken. I'm kind of on Charlie. I agree with Charlie on this. Take me. I don't care about fire. Even if I feel like it could help my resume. If I know I have a shot to get to the finals and I can be like, I can convince Ben to go for the other two people, I'm going to do that. Because if I don't feel confident with fire, I can sit there and be like, I didn't feel confident with fire. I was just wanting Ben to choose Kenzie and stuff, regardless of whether he says like, no, my decision was always going to be that. Perfect. Regardless, perfect.
No, I couldn't agree more. I also, Jay put this in the chat when we were talking about editing, and it's something I'm happy you brought up. This is why I love the live chat, because I don't take notes anymore because I want to experience it and thoroughly enjoy it. And the music of the Flint being scraped as they went to commercial, and they showed like each single person. That was good. It was like a movie. I thought it was a movie. During the fire making challenge, I got worried for a second because we talked about on the pre-show that Survivor likes to tease stuff, and they posted that video when no one, what season was it again?
Cook
Islands, thank you. Where no one could make fire, and they had to hand out matches, an iconic moment. Yeah. And I thought we were going to get this again because Liz was struggling. Your girl, Kenzie Ollie. I mean, everyone, it was
scared.
like under the pressure. Everyone's like, what are you doing, Kenzie? It was very clear and obvious that everyone was rooting Kenzie on over Liz, which was also interesting to see. But the fact that Q would look over and be like, she's choking under pressure. She's choking. Kenzie knew it. Kenzie even had to step back and okay.
And I think that's all she needed to do. That's the thing with like, I think Kenzie kind of was like, I'm getting in my head. And Kenzie was like, no, I'm going to take a step back. I'm just going to compose. I'm going to compose. Because she knew she could do this. She was sat there like, I do this all the time. And she was like, it's the pressure. It's the pressure. Like, I know it's that. Try and snap out of it.
And if you guys have never been under that amount of pressure, let me just tell you from an acting side of things, I can't imagine. That's for $1 million. Like, when I go up to audition, I could have the lines memorized forwards and backwards. This just happened the other day. I had been rehearsing this scene for 3 days. I could say these lines in my sleep. Went there, did a perfect take, and then they said, hey, let's do it one more time because you always want to get 2 takes just in case you do one better. And then we spent the next 20 minutes me fumbling my lines of a script that I knew, because you get, if the nerves get in you at all, you start sweating a little bit. It's a real thing. So it did not.
It is a B.
Exactly. It actually shocks me more that we have not seen more of this in that kind of pressure situation of people just being like, thanks, Jay. Thanks. But I'm shocked that we haven't seen more of this where people kind of, I don't want to say fold under the pressure, because she didn't. She killed it. But, kind of struggle with the pressure of the moment.
Well, that's the thing. I think it was this. So I think we have seen people like crack under the pressure, but it's just not been as kind of vocalized. And I feel like Kenzie and Liz were both very vocal on, I've done this. Why is it not working now? And it's just the pressure. And I mean, again, credit to the jury, because they were the commentators in this. They were the narrators. They were the ones that kind of making us all aware. We know it's the pressure. So I think it was just more vocalized.
And she struggled back at camp. Like, that's what we were all kind of sitting around watching this. And we saw her back at camp practice and be like, what am I doing here?
That actually reminds me, that was because, do you remember I said at the start of the podcast, there was a moment where I was like, oh no, Kenzie's not winning. And it was because Charlie said the episode title. It was during that moment, I think it was before the immunity, actually. Charlie said the episode title of Friends Going to War or something like that. And then I saw Kenzie struggle. I was like, this is foreshadowing. I was like, I'm just going to breathe. I'm just going to compose. What will be, will be. But no, it was the pressure. Like, and I get it. I get it.
We know if Ollie was out there on that jury, he would have been Kenzie's loudest cheerleader. Like, he wouldn't have been quiet about it. Kenzie, you got this.
Me and Tiff would have been like, go on, girl.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about probably the most controversial moment that happened last night, the situation between Maria and Charlie at that final tribal council and going on to the after show. We will be right back.
What's up, guys? I'm Todd Herzog, the winner of Survivor China, and I want to welcome you to Todd's Pop Shop. Here, me and my husband Jess, we custom make Funko Pops. We'll make literally anybody or anything you could imagine. But being that we're here listening to the Survivor Now podcast, I'm assuming you're all Survivor fans. So take a look at these. Some custom Funkos of your favorite Survivor winners, Sandra and Yul. Or how about Big Brother fans? Suri Goddess herself playing the game of Big Brother. You can also get her in Survivor form. Or maybe yourself with your favorite buff and a torch playing the game. But even better, get yourself with your favorite player like Nora here with Ozzy. And since you're listening to the Survivor Now podcast, if you mention this ad, you will get $10 off your first order and free shipping. All season long, Survivor 45 should be a good one. Mention this ad, $10 off and free shipping. I'll be watching too, still a diehard fan to this day. Hit me up on Instagram, Todd's Pop Shop, or toddspopshop@gmail.com, or on Facebook, and I will see you soon.
All right, so there's a lot to talk about right now. And one, this is your last chance of the season to get that great deal that Todd is offering. Yes, he filmed that for season 45.
Yes.
It still carries over. So if you want that great deal, I have a pop figure over there, John Cochran. If you want to grab a pop figure of Kinsey, go ahead and hit Todd up. It's your last opportunity. Ollie, I'm giving you the idea. Also, this comes from Reality TV News and Updates. Just got this. Survivor ends the 2023-2024 season as the #1 entertainment show among adults 18 to 34, 18 to 49, and 25 to 54 for the first time since season 2 Australian Outback, according to CBS. Last night's finale was up 2% in viewers and 11% in key demographics compared to the season 44 finale. So, I mean, I was talking to I had a friend over last night who didn't care about Survivor or doesn't care about Survivor whatsoever. He was just kind of hanging out, eating with us. He actually brought in another TV to watch the NBA Western Conference Finals game last night, and he would kind of glance over on commercial at Survivor, and he made a comment about how more people care about, sports and stuff, and why do we watch this or whatever. And I said, I understand a lot of people don't like reality TV. It's not their cup of tea, but I think if more people give Survivor a chance, Survivor is a different animal. There's actually like a lot of strategy that goes into it.
Yeah.
There's competition sense to it. Because I think when people think reality TV, they think The Bachelor, Bachelorette, like shows like that, which is just drama and shit talking. Survivor is a different animal. And I told him, I mean, with this new era, Survivor's whole motto was to introduce it to fans who have never seen the show before and get new fans. And Survivor is certainly not dead. We need to kill that right now because
I truly think this season has helped Survivor out more than they realize. I think this has really helped. I mean, not just this season. I think kind of 44, 45, 46. This span of 3 seasons has really helped regain the fans' trust and then gain more fans for sure.
Yeah, and I think people are starting to be okay with like the new era, how it plays out and everything like that. Jay says a pop figure of Q wearing a Q skirt. Somebody is going to get that. Also, congrats Survivor. And then our friends at Spill the Immunity. Hey, Randy. Hello. Also, the last thing I wanted to say, we have 72 live viewers right now, which I think might be the most I've ever seen. I don't know if Ollie. So thank you to everyone tuning in live and interacting with us. Really appreciate all of you. All right, let's get on to the big talking point last night. Before we get to the Charlie aspect, we're going to start with Maria first, and the kind of positive note of Maria being a challenge beast. She had the opportunity last night to tie an exclusive list of women to win 4 immunity challenges. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I know Kim Spradlin is one.
You've got Kelly Wigglesworth. You've got Chrissy Hoffbeck.
I always disrespect Chrissy. She was a goat.
Kim, I feel like there's one other, and my brain's not remembering it. But I feel like there's one more. There was 4.
Yeah, there's 4 women. She had the opportunity, and she comes up just short in the second to last immunity challenge, making her the obvious next target. And we saw that at the tribal council. I looked at my friends. I said, this is clearly Maria. Yes, they tried to make us think maybe they're going to turn this on Ben, and they did the editors did a great job. But once everyone started saying, yes,
thank you.
Can we forget Jenna?
I knew it was an old schooler.
Jay's just our historian at this point. But yeah, so she comes up just short. And I told my friends last night that even though it looked like it could have been Ben, once we got the individual kind of perspectives at tribal council, I said, this is Maria's goodbye. They're playing the sad music. This is the best player is leaving the game. Everyone would say she was the best player of the season, whether she was or not, that's up for you to decide. And obviously it kind of ended in a soiled way. We'll get to that. But yeah, what can be said about Maria? I mean, it took 2 people to knock her out of this immunity challenge because she still finished second.
Yep. And the thing is, she did actually take that in her stride, and she said it in a couple of interviews. Like, she takes it as a compliment. I even think she said it at Tribal Council. She takes it as a compliment because it took 2 people for her not to win immunity. And I think that's a really respectable way to think about it. And I think that's a class act on Maria's part. She was definitely getting like as soon as we kind of saw the tribal council, I could tell she was getting the fallen angel like hero edit. And yeah, I mean, she kind of does deserve it in the sense of like she was a force during merge. Like she managed to make some big moves and she was kind of the pinnacle. So I understand it. Like, was she my personal favorite player? Obviously not, because I was rooting for Kenzie. It's fine. But I could still understand why there was like, why even like the cast themselves were like, she is amazing. She needs to go.
And we have Jay in the chat adding in. Maria is probably the best mom archetype of the new era. I know a lot of people are excited about the mom archetype on 47. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show as well. And then Jay, I think she'll be asked back for another season. I'm still torn. My gut is saying she won't be back for whatever reason.
I think it depends on the season. Depends on if they do a theme. If they do a theme, then
how old is Maria again? She's late
40s.
48.
48 years young.
Yeah. So potentially. And then the big talking point last night. I know everyone's been waiting for it. We got to say goodbye to the after show. We have to. I'm on that side. Charlie visibly upset at the Survivor 46 after show. And this is a quote from Mike Bloom's interview on Parade. So make sure to go check that out. I'm not going to lie. It just felt heavy. It felt like I was reliving the exact moment. And he was visibly upset last night.
Yeah.
And there were some interviews. The one that Dalton Ross posted for EW comes to mind. And I wanted to show it. We talked about it before, but we decided not to, obviously, for that's his interview and everything. But I can still say what was said. Charlie said in the interview that he has tried to rekindle or fix, whatever friendship they had. And Maria called him a couple weeks after the game ended and said she regretted her vote. And then a little bit later took it back and said, I can't live with regrets. I don't regret what I did. And from I'm not putting any words in anybody's mouths, but from what we could tell, they are not on the best terms, which is sad to hear about. Yeah. So Ollie, take it away. Whether you want to talk about, this is a very sad image, and Charlie did incredible when Jeff asked him, put it in perspective, and he said, "You know what? You brought it up earlier. Class act from Charlie. Kenzie is the winner. Congratulations to her." I can't imagine being in that moment. Me personally, I don't know if I would have the power to contain myself from my frustration. So Ollie, what do you have to say on all this?
It's the thing of he was a class act, and I think it was very real. And it's kind of similar to what I would have done if I was in that situation and lost. I just so sorry. I would have openly said, like he did, I am sad. Like, I've just lost the game. Like, I'm gonna be sad about it. But so the big talking point is obviously Maria didn't vote for Charlie. I am in the bandwagon of, and I think Charlie even said it in a couple of interviews, that he was never owed, like Maria never owed him a vote. It
wasn't guaranteed.
Yeah, it wasn't guaranteed. And like, obviously, I understand sitting there thinking like, oh no, like he, yes, it is, Jay. He could have like gone in there thinking like, oh yeah, I am definitely getting Maria's vote. I can understand that, but he's not guaranteed. Kind of like the same thing of like, we can all expect Tiffany to vote for Kenzie, but that does not mean it's guaranteed. So I'm on the mindset of, because Maria has had a lot of backlash from this. And I was actually talking to my partner about this, and it was like, damned if she do, damned if she don't, because the thing is, so Jay's just putting here.
Sorry.
Obviously, Maria did tell Charlie multiple times that she was going to vote for him at the end, which is completely fair. But there was 2 days to then decide that, like, stuff changes. Like, Soda could have promised Ben her vote, but then like you've got all that time. So it's one of those things, like, I know she did say that, but I'm also kind of in the mindset of anything can happen. Like Charlie could have had a really bad final tribal council, but are you still going to sit there and be like, well, these people still have to vote for him because it's
because they owe him. Yeah.
It's this. The fans sometimes, not all fans, some fans kind of already have it in their brains of who they expect to vote for who, and when it doesn't happen, instead of being surprised and being like, oh, I wonder why that is, they almost get mad. And that's what I've kind of seen with like Maria. And I kind of want to call it out again because this finale, people have, I'm going to say naughty words. I'm so sorry. Shit on Kenzie, shit on Maria. It's sexist.
It's sad. Yeah.
It is.
It
and
is
I can understand there was an element of bitterness for Maria, but at the end of the day, why is she not entitled to have those feelings, but others are, if that makes sense? And I know there was a lot of the thing with Maria is there was a lot of different reasons as to why she voted for Kenzie. And I can understand why Charlie was upset. I think Charlie had a right to be upset. Again, I'm just letting everyone know. I'm not saying that Charlie doesn't have a right to be upset.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of saying there is a million other things that we didn't see. And
we got oh, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I was just going to say we have a few comments from people. I know we saved probably the biggest talking point for last because I know a lot of people have been all over this. It caused a lot of talk last night. Jay, this is from earlier. Hot take. Maria was kind of bitter given the fact that she said weeks after the show that she regretted her vote for Kenzie only to then backtrack and double down shows she was kind of bitter.
Yeah.
And Amy, Maria claimed Kenzie's fire making is what made her mind up about Kenzie. I think Charlie telling the jury he didn't think he needed to make fire, I think did him a disservice. This is the thing. We can't put any words in anybody's mouth. So I mean, Hybrid adds in Hybrid Shadow right here. She didn't own her bitterness. If I'm coming from a perspective of how I saw this situation, and Ollie and I spoke about this before we even came on air, because we know this, before you bring up a topic, you got to talk about how are we going to approach this in a way that is respectable to the cast who are out there on hardly any food and hardly any sleep. Doesn't matter if you're at Ponderosa or not. There's been a lot of people who said, even when I got to Ponderosa, I couldn't sleep because there's an adjustment period that people don't think about. So who knows how much sleep Maria had been getting at Ponderosa. But how can we talk about this in a way that is respectful to the castaways while also saying what we saw? What I saw, and that was the body language at the after show, Maria wouldn't even look at Charlie. And she was kind of sitting up there like she made her decision of what she wanted to do, and she was cool to live with it because, and whether you want to say it's bitterness or not, that's part of the game. Whether we like it or not, that is part of the game. I'm going to use myself and Ollie as an example. Love Ollie to death. If we went out there and we had a final 2-pack and he votes me out at final 5, I'm going to be a little shitty. I'm going to be, it's just part of the game. It's how you handle it and how you come out. Like I felt when I said Charlie was a class act, I thought he handled it very well. Ollie, go ahead.
That's cute. You think I'm going to let you get to final 5? Final 10, final 9. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, he's going to vote me out first. But yeah, so I mean, Maria, all this to say, I know it's like, where are you going with this, Randy? All this to say, yes, Maria has not came out and said, yeah, I made this decision because I was hurt from Charlie. She doesn't have to. She frankly does not have to come out and give us that validation that's why she made that decision. She's a grown woman. She can say whatever she wants. If she's coming out and saying that it was the fire in Kenzie's eyes that had her vote that way, that's what we got to go with. Whether you like it or not, that's what she's telling you. That's the answer she's telling you. You got to live with it. What I saw was a little bitterness, but I'm also not mad about it. That's part of the game. It's part of jury management.
Again, there's going to be bitterness. I know if I had got blindsided by someone I really loved, I'd be slightly bitter too. And it's just how you deal with it and how that plays up in the moment. So, and I will actually say in terms of the after show, I did almost feel like there was remorse. I do feel like there was remorse because she couldn't look at Charlie. And to me, I feel like that is the body language of, I feel so bad that I've kind of not gone through with what I said to this particular person. And I understand how he feels right now. So I'm going to give him his time to let him have his emotions. Because at the same time, she's made that decision and he's still been on the island. She's had a couple of days now to like chill and get adjusted and have her like centered. Charlie didn't have that. So I think she also kind of saw how Charlie was feeling at that moment and was like, I'm just going to say my piece quickly and then I'm just going to let him be and let him have his moment to process and just get this over with. That's also how I see it. But I also do understand. I'm not saying there wasn't an air of bitterness. I do think there was. But
just to put it in perspective, that vote alone, and it could have been anyone's vote who made the decision to vote for Kinsey. Tevin voted Kinsey, and we saw him visibly when he was voting be like, it is that close. Tevin decides to go Charlie. We're going to a tie. So I don't want to say that that Maria cost Charlie the game. I don't like that perspective because there were multiple people who could have changed their votes, but he was Maria's vote away from tying with Kinsey, and it doesn't help now that you hear that Ben would have voted for you. That doesn't help. That kind of what if is going to live with him until he plays Survivor again or possibly the rest of his life.
Also, when we look at this hypothetically speaking, Maria's in the final tribal. We know for a fact Venus ain't voting for her. So are we going to give that same mentality to Venus, saying that she's better for not voting for Maria, even if she clearly played the best game? I just want to put that out there because I think we do have to kind of remember, like, again, we've seen the dynamics. And I understand, again, people would think that this is the dynamic that it's going to go for. It didn't happen. We'd just be surprised. Yes, there was probably some bitterness towards it, but oh well.
Yeah, what are you going to do? This could always come back in a second chance season when Charlie comes back and he can play that perspective. I was one vote away from potentially winning the game. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. I'll show a last couple comments here about this. Jay, Liz speculated that Maria may have been against Charlie because Tiff told her that at Final 7, they were planning to use her idol to get out Maria. So that might have made Maria feel a bit betrayed. But she was also gunning for him at 1.2, so she shouldn't have felt betrayed. Charlie never intended to make that move since he voted out Tiff. Spilled the immunity adds in. I think it was the mother thing that Kinsey talked about being a mom. We didn't really talk about that, but when we actually talked about that final tribal council, but I love that moment when they were asked. I got my favorite question asked at this final tribal council, and I got my least favorite question. My least favorite question is, what are you going to do with the money? Because I don't think that should matter. Like it's who plays the best game. If I come out and say, I'm going to buy a yacht and throw the sickest parties, that I don't think that should lose me a vote over someone who's going to donate it. Like you play the game, you've earned the title of sole survivor and the money, you can do whatever you want with it. And I love how Kinsey came out and said, I could have said I'm going to put it towards a nonprofit, but I'm not going to sit here and lie. I've earned this money. I want this money. Yeah. And I love that. So props to Kinsey. That's my least favorite question that you can ask is what you're going to do with the money. And that came from Q, I believe. Yeah. And my favorite question that you can ask is the one, I think it came from Venus, where it's I don't know if it's Venus. Someone asked, what was the moment in the game that you regret the most or you wish, affected your game the most?
I think that was Tevin or Venus. I can't remember.
And then, so we can go on. Let me find my play. Here we go. So that was season 46. We've talked about all the gist of the finale. Overall reaction to season 46 and where it ranks among new era seasons and where Kinsey ranks as a Survivor winner for you. So Ollie's made it clear that Kinsey is his favorite winner of all time. I would say Kinsey is probably middle of the road for me. I love her as a person. If you look at all Survivor winners, my favorite winner of all time for context is John Cochran. I think he played an outstanding game. Where 46 ranks as in terms of the New Era seasons, it has not changed. It was an entertaining season. The first 4 episodes were a drag, and we all thought Survivor was dead, myself included. Everyone was, Randy, calm down. I mean, if you've listened to the show, you've heard me say this. I sent multiple texts to the group chat where my Survivor Now analyst had to be like, Randy, you need to calm down. I felt the first 4 episodes were awful. But after that, we got arguably the best post-merge of the New Era. Was it amazing gameplay? No. We did not see great gameplay this season. Was it entertaining? Yes. So nothing has changed for me. Kenzie, I'd put her probably about middle of the pack. I don't know exactly where. I don't know if it's upper middle, lower middle. I would have to see everybody. She's probably just middle of the pack winner for me. And then 46 goes behind 45. I still think 45 was entertaining, great gameplay, great dynamics, great storyline. So I would put 46 behind 45, but I agree, and the numbers agree too. Survivor is not dead, and the New Era is starting to take off.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it. Kenzie is my favorite winner. That is how I feel about it. I just adore Kenzie as a human and a person. And for me, she really resonated with how I view the game and how I feel like I would play if I did play it. I feel like
with
I
your heart.
would play, with my heart, but also I feel like she was a very socially strategic player. Her strategy was always social. There was always a social benefit to it. So that's why I kind of resonate with it. And it kind of gives me hope that, you know, the way that I kind of feel like I would want to play Survivor, I can see it being a winning game. And actually, so I for the seasons, I hadn't made a decision yet last night. It is my favorite now. It is my favorite, and it's purely for entertainment, for dynamics, for obviously the winner. And I just feel like it's the one I've enjoyed the most. Like season 45 and 46 were very close, but yeah, just for me, I feel like I enjoyed 46 a bit more than 45. So I'll
say this: I was excited for 46. And I will give it this. I'm ecstatic for 47. And this is coming from a person, Ollie can vouch. I was one of those people, Survivor is dead. All I care about, Survivor Australia, Survivor US isn't the same. Look, I'll call myself out. I have no problem calling myself out. I was wrong. I'll look dead in the camera. I was wrong. Like, this was fun. I was wrong. This was fun. And I'm pumped for 47. Yeah. Jay adds in for me. D, Jam, Marianne, Erica, Kenzie, and Gabler. And then in terms of seasons, 46, 45, 42, 44, 43, and 41. Spill the immunity. I feel like, oh, you agree with that?
I agree with this completely. And I think I said it earlier that it was kind of 44 started it. But yeah, the momentum's
I agree. The momentum is definitely there. The numbers are backing it up. I love, Jay, that you included Gabler because a lot of people have been saying how iconic are New Era winners and been leaving him out. Oh, my man Gabler being left out. Well, that is season 46. Oh, my dog started barking. I thought I left him outside. I was like, no, I let him in. But that is season 46, an incredible season. A much-deserved winner. And then I was also going to add on one more thing. Oh, yeah, I can't forget to say 2 mothers have won like back-to-back. Mothers in their own right. 2 female winners back-to-back. 2 queens. That's the word I was looking for. And Dee and Kenzie. So they have won back-to-back. And now, looking ahead to Survivor 40 40 several. I know I missed the opportunity to say 40 several. So I will say, Ollie, this, when I saw this logo, I think that was my favorite logo of all time. I thought it was going to be rustic like that with the mossy green. I said, ooh, we have never seen something like that. And if they come out with tribe colors of black, dark green, and like purple, I would be in love. And then they showed the actual logo.
Yeah.
For me, it's a step down. It's still great. And I love how people have been saying it kind of gives like a Halloween vibe. And it's going to be airing around Halloween time. So that is amazing. I kept talking to my friends about the bats. And they're like, why do the bats matter? because geckos mattered this season. They were on the necklace. They had a giant gecko that they dragged. The season before that was the season of the birds. It seems like, yeah, we're not getting themes, but we're getting different animals every single season.
Yeah, so it's the motifs. So this season, it was very much Japanese motifs. I believe the geckos came from the Japanese cave geckos. That's what I feel like it is. So I'm intrigued to see what the bats are
They
about.
should do vampires. They should make it goth and vampire.
I think if you didn't have the middle part, and the middle part was kind of similar to what the other one was, I would absolutely love this. Yeah.
What do you mean by middle part? Like this,
the colors.
Survivor, what part?
So the colors of the actual logo.
Oh yeah.
Of the sea. I just feel like that's what.
I kid you not. When I saw this, I screamed. I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be dark." Like, ooh, and then. I thought that was the logo, and then they obviously showed this, and I was like, "What? That's not even the same logo."
Yeah, it's definitely.
That's like the clip art version of it. It's still cool. I still think it's arguably the best new era logo.
This one?
Yeah, you don't think so?
No, I still prefer 46.
46.
Yeah, this one I feel like was the nicest. I feel like I have to go look back at the logos first. Actually, let me.
Quick thoughts, Ollie. What do we think about 47, the preview that we saw? I know there's a RHAP podcaster on it. I didn't notice her at first.
No.
And she's on this season. Ali, that starts with an A.
Yeah, I can't say her. I can't pronounce her name yet. But no, I'm very, very excited for it.
There's another comedian too that's on it. There's another guy who was like, I was a Cub Scout and I threw up and went home. He's like a famous comedian podcaster that I've never heard of. But yeah, apparently there's 5 podcasters on this season. And where is our call?
Well, it's going to be your tag with, let's be fair. It's going to be you tag with or Matt or Phil or Jack.
It's for sure. Tag I think is for sure going to be the first person.
It's going to be anyone but me or Abe. Let's be fair. But no, I'm excited for it. I think they've kind of figured out what makes Survivor do well. And I'm excited to see some of these characters. I think the mum of next season, that archetype, I was very much looking forward to her. But I think we've got a good group. I'm very excited. I mean, for me, they've got big shoes to fill, but I'm excited to see how, they do.
I got great energy from the guy who said, "Oh, I wish there was a bodybuilding competition or something out here." I don't know. The interesting thing is a lot of people talked about season 50, and Jay brings up here Asia, like Asia. So that's how. So it's Asia Welch. And then Amy adds in, I like the gecko theme, especially the giant geckos in the first challenge. And then John Lovett was the podcaster / comedian. But Jay, I loved how you brought this up, and they seem to want to play hard to get on Survivor 50. That was something we were talking about, that season 47, 48, 49 players were going to go out and make a name for themselves. I heard at least 6 players, at least in the preview alone, say, I want to go down as a legend.
Yep.
I want people to turn on the TV and remember my name. I'm coming out here to make a name for myself. It is very obvious that people are going out there wanting to secure a spot on arguably what could be the biggest season in the 50th anniversary of like the seasons of Survivor.
I just hope they don't. I know that they'll want to like make a name and like make themselves a character. I just hope that doesn't jeopardize kind of the gameplay and Survivor, if that makes sense. I don't want it just to be like, hi, I'm here for my 15 minutes. I'm here to try and then get on another reality.
Well, if you're only there for 15 minutes, you're not going to get on another season. I think the gameplay.
Well, Jelensky.
I think the gameplay might be a little sloppy moving forward. I think what we're going to see here is players know that big moves get you back, big moments get you back in the game. So I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see a lot of people try to we could see it where they overthink tribal councils. It's like they're trying to split a vote between 3 people to make this masterful move when you could just make the easy move. Let me just let every player know the easiest way to come back, win the game, guarantee that you're a Survivor winner, and there's always legend seasons that they could bring you back to try to win again. Let's show. I love this comment right here. Speaking of Jack, has anyone seen him today? He may not have survived last night's part. Nope, haven't seen him. He'll be.
We'll text him. We'll message him, see how he's doing.
All right. Next up, we're going to show you the results to the fantasy competition. Ollie has not. I have not sent these out. Ollie, are you feeling good?
Yeah.
Let me just say before I show these. I said the winner gets 50 points, not realizing we go off a bracketology scoring system. The bracketology already gives the winner 25 points for winning the game.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So I just gave him an additional 25 points to get to that 50. Didn't matter anyways, because Ollie did not need it to win. He would have won even if I took those 25 points away. Ollie is the new Survivor Now podcasting champion. He has the bragging rights for the year to come until season 48 begins, which Ollie, that means you have to be a part of the draft because you have to defend your crown. So Ollie takes it home with 452. Abraham right behind him, 405. Kara in her first season doing the draft comes in third. Will was off to a hot start, finished fourth, did way better than he did last year.
Yeah.
And then Phil comes in fifth. And then Matthew told me to stop tagging him in the post and comes in last place. He is the loser until season 48.
Okay.
Yeah. And congrats to our bracketology fantasy winner, Mac Fritz, who has been a fan of the show for years. She dominated the fantasy competition. You are getting a custom pop figure from Todd Herzog of your favorite player of the season. You can make that Kinsey. You can get Kinsey's pop right away, or Q in a Q skirt. You're going to get a custom cameo from your favorite player this season. And you're going to get a gift package from Katie Tedesco Art. I know last season's third place winner, you're still waiting for your stuff. I haven't forgot about you. I have it right there. I just got to send it out. So you will be getting that as well when I send out Mac's stuff. So congratulations to Mackenzie Fritz. Yeah, she's been a fan of the show for a hot minute. Well, that does it for the Survivor 46 cast. We have to, Ollie, don't get emotional on me because I'm going to get emotional. We have to say goodbye to the Survivor 46 cast. Congratulations to Kinsey for winning and playing an incredible game. Yeah. Well-deserved winner. And we're not done here at Survivor Now, your go-to source for U.S. and international Survivor coverage. We have even more content coming up for you guys this week. So, Survivor Social will not be happening tonight. We said we knew this was probably going to happen. Ben is having a concert in New York tonight. From what I'm hearing from Tegwith and Kara, my sources, they are aiming for next Monday. So Survivor Social and their analysis of the finale will be coming next week at some point. So stay tuned for that. I believe this is still good to go for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Join Jack and Will as they break down the finale and Kinsey's confessional counts. They both picked Kinsey as a winner a couple of weeks ago. Yes, go ahead, Ollie.
Sorry, you just said confessional. I just want to also give Kinsey credit. She is now she's the female winner with the most confessionals.
Yo,
she has the most. Yeah, she has the most confessionals as a winner.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Snap. Yes. So they will talk about all of that. They will look at the edgic. That will be tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Saturday, Ollie, any word on this? Are you guys still on for Saturday?
Yeah, we have not changed anything. So yeah.
So Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Ollie, really fast, what can they expect for Got Something For You? What's different about Got Something For You than the after show?
So Got Something For You. We are obviously this one. We will kind of pick in moments. We will go through categorically what happens. We'll have pictures, and then we will go through the social media. So we will be looking at
it's a lot
where everyone's put. Yeah, there's a lot. I've already got a lot of social media. I've already found. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at the social media. We're gonna just be going through by through, and we are just going to make sure that we give you all of the content before we finish the season.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys know what they're talking about. Ollie, obviously, you've seen him all episode with his amazing takes. You have Phil and you have Matthew. It is an incredible team. It is our most watched podcast. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Got something for you as our most watched podcast. It's your last chance to hear about everything that went down for season 46. And you also, at that point, you have a chance to let it settle in. This is a lot of times the after show is initial reactions. You can go back, you can rewatch it, you can really think about what actually took place. And then we're not done heading into the off season. Next Monday evening, we will be talking about what Survivor Australia has coming up, possibly 2 seasons and a legend season. Australia versus America coming up in 2025. Very excited to talk about that. And then at a later date, we will get this scheduled within the next couple of weeks. Who should return for season 50? We will walk through who we think are locks. Like, I think Rick Devens is a lock to return. Abraham. If I don't say Abraham's a lock, he's going to kill me. I think Rick Devens is a lock to return. Who's not going to return that everyone thinks is going to return? I don't think Carolyn's going to come back and play again. So we will go through and discuss all of that. And I think that is pretty much it. I will say, Spill the Immunity. Come on my so they were talking to someone else. This was the comment. Randy still want to do something together on Survivor Now, maybe a crossover. Definitely. We've got a lot of content coming up. Oh, I almost forgot, Ollie. Ollie's probably like, I'm ready to go. I almost forgot one thing. We will be covering another classic Survivor season. We did this last year, and Matthew and I have decided that we're going to alternate. So Matthew's going to get the summer off to do whatever he wants. I don't know who's going to be covering this with me, but I will be leading the charge with a team of 1 to 2 people, and we will break down, much like we did here today with Survivor 46, every Wednesday, probably Wednesday, subject to change, probably Wednesday, we will be watching and reviewing a classic season. You can watch along, so your Survivor love does not have to stop, and it will take you right up to season 47. So here it is. Ollie, I'm going to see if you know what season this is.
Game Changers.
Game Changers is the season that we will be covering. There was a lot of thought that went into this. I think Game Changers is a great season because of everything that's going on with season 50, going to be returning players. This is that's why I made the choice that I did. There are some historic moments on this season, both good and bad. I know of one very, very bad one that I almost didn't choose because of that, but it is a talking point that we need to talk about. So Game Changers, this is looking like we are going to begin watching that on June 12th at 9 p.m., which is the currently scheduled time, but this is always subject to change. We haven't posted that on Instagram yet. I got to lock that time down. I got to lock the crew down before we make the official announcement of when we're going to watch that. But we're thinking June 12th, we'll watch the premiere, and then we'll review it that night. Spill the Immunity. Wow, what a cast on Game Changers. Ollie, were you a fan of Game Changers?
Like you said, they had their good moments. They had their bad moments. So I feel like that was kind of the season So I feel like if I was to rewatch it, I would get more of a sense. Because it was one I kind of just watched and then carried on.
Yeah, you're like, yep, boom. Thank you, next. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to stick around all off season for our off season coverage. We will be back. We still got some more shows this week, but we will be back to cover season 47. We're very, very excited. We're making some moves at Survivor Now to make this the best podcast that you could watch, and we thank you for choosing to watch us. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave us a 5-star rating. We would greatly appreciate it, and we will catch you guys next time. Wait. And happy birthday to Ollie. It is his birthday tomorrow. Everybody send happy birthday in the chat for Ollie. Hit him up in his DMs. He will love that. All right.